Hello! Welcome, everyone. Woo! All right. Ooh, we got a hot topic today. Tonight, I'm going to be talking about how to make job hopping look good on your resume. As a woman of color, and in 2024, the job market is different. We have to use different techniques. So, I'm going to be sharing tips, tools, tricks and secrets to help you all land a six-figure promotion. I am coming live to you all every week, um, every Monday at 7 p.m. I'm gonna be doing it every week. I've been doing this now for the past 3 months. It's been amazing. I am naming this series the Six Figure Promotion Series. So if you want a six-figure promotion, all right, stay tuned. Be sure to follow me. Just hit the follow button. That way you get notified when I go live. I'm going to be doing different topics every week. And these topics come from you all. They come from you all like messaging me. They come from my clients. They come from your comments. So these topics come from you all. Be sure to follow me so you get notified when I go live. All right. If you are ready, I want to see some like ready in there. If you know someone that needs to hear this and she's a woman of color, actually anybody at this point, a lot of people need to hear this about how to make job hopping look good on your resume. Tag them in the comments, share this out. We want to get this to as many people as possible. I am dropping gems tonight, okay? If you are new to me, hey, or new to my platform, welcome. I am Latrice Huff, career and leadership coach to women of color, and it is my mission and my movement to put more women of color in leadership roles and have us making six figures. We need to be in positions of power, and that is how we take control of our lives and change the world. All right. So, if you know me, if you're like Latrice, I've been following you for a while, you know that I am known for helping women of color get six-figure promotions. And one of the things very recently that I have been seeing people get stuck on, this is what I'll say, is the job hopping. Like literally, this concept of job hopping and being a job hopper is holding you back from applying to roles that you know you are more than qualified for, right? So that's how this topic came up. All right. We're going to have some engagement. I want some questions, you guys. I want to know, like, have you experienced this? What questions do you have about job hopping? Do you feel like it's been holding you back from applying or holding you back from getting interviews? Let me know. All right. Also, I want to let you all know I have a free workshop coming up on how to land a six-figure promotion as a woman of color. And then it's like dot in the 2024 job market. I have updated this workshop. It is hot, it is on fire. We're doing it on the 27th. I originally had it on June 20th, and I recently went to a conference, a recruiting conference, and I was like, I have to update this. I have to add this information in. So if you're like, Latrice, I want to attend, it's completely free, it's via Zoom. Go ahead and put branding in the comments. And then we're going to send you the link to that free workshop. Okay. So just put branding in the comments. Right. So we're going to y'all know I got my notes here. We're going to get started. I want to start this off by saying, one, job hopper, and that could be one word, does not equal bad candidate. That's what I wrote here. Can y'all see this? Job hopper does not equal bad candidate. And some of you all have the mindset that if I look like a job hopper, I won't get this role, right? If I get the job, if I look like a job hopper on my resume, I shouldn't even apply. Like this is this terrible bad thing that only you have experienced job hopping. And some of you are, I wouldn't even consider. I've seen people at roles for like 3 years, 5 years, and they're like, I'm a job hopper. Here's the thing. One, you're probably not. Two, job hopping is not bad. Three, I have even seen people talk about how job hopping is a career advancement method or strategy, which is true. All right, let me tell y'all that. Myself, I don't think I've stayed in a role longer than 3 years. I think maybe when I first got no, I wasn't even out of college. It was like this accounting job. I actually hated it, but it was my job that helped me through college, and I think I was maybe there for 3.5 years. But I wasn't even in roles years. I was getting raises, promotions, changing jobs every year to year and a half, right? So if someone were to look at mine, they would be like, "Oh, you." Even if it was in the same company, I just moved, right? I just moved around and I got increases, promotions, and raises each time, right? So it is not a bad thing. We're going to help you tonight. I'm going to help you present it and show it as a good thing, like looking good on your resume. Okay, so if you want to say looking good, give me some looking good in the comments. All right. Be sure, again, if you want the link to that workshop, be sure to go ahead and put branding in the comments so that we know to go ahead and send that out to you all. I'm going to check the comments on my phone. All right, so this is not even my first tip. This is just a way of thinking about things. I need you, before you even start to write your resume, if you're thinking, I'm a job hopper, this is bad, let's pause for a minute and let's honestly get into the frame and the mindset of job hopping or being a job hopper does not mean that you are a bad candidate or even an undesirable candidate. That is not what that means, okay? Just want to share that. I want you to know that you need to come into this with like thinking I have value. All right. Like if you do, I want to see that I had thinking like and knowing that you have value, you are valuable. Your value is not equivalent to the number of roles that you've had in the last 3 to 5 years. That does not define your value. Okay. So I also want to, these are some tips I just had. I was like, before I even get into the tips, I was like, we need to get into this about this mindset piece and the way we're looking at things. And just know there are ways to frame your resume to minimize the look of job hopping, okay? To minimize that, right? Um, so number one, you need to focus on how are you thinking about yourself. Again, before you start writing your resume, before you sit down to apply, how are you? I feel like I got a piece of hair sticking up, you guys. All right. How are you thinking about yourself and your career journey? Seriously, take note of that. And this is what I had. Instead of thinking, I'm a job hopper, no one's gonna like this, they're gonna think I'm gonna leave. I want you to think about what unique set of skills do you have? What companies have you worked for that could be interesting and intriguing? How does this make you a better candidate? Like I've had clients that maybe they are now in finance, but before they were in HR. Like, how does that make you an even better candidate? Or maybe they did 6 months to a year in a startup company, right? How does that experience make you an even better candidate? You need to be thinking about things. This and this is so interesting, you guys. I was I was like reading up on like job hopping and millennials, and I came across this woman. She has her own business, and I cannot remember her name, but she was a black woman, and she was talking about how when she graduated from college, it was a recession, the worst economic time. That's when I came out, right? And she was like, she's a millennial, and she thought she would just come out either starting her own business and making making six figures, or in a job and making six figures, and that is not what happened. Neither of those happened. And what wound up happening was she wound up job hopping a lot until she started her own business. And she said how she described it is that millennials, because I was like, you're probably a millennial, are one of the most professionally agile generations and groups of people. And I was like, I love that. What if you thought about yourself and your work experience as professionally agile, right? You're adaptable, you have different sets of skills versus someone that has only worked for one company or only had one type of career and had this very linear type. You bring a different thought process, mindset. Are you easily adaptable to different scenarios, different work styles, like different bosses, different organizations, right? Like, think about that. I just love that. And another stat that she quoted is that the average millennial will have 10 to 15 jobs throughout their career versus our parents who would have had one to two. So just so you know, my parents were the same. I think my mom worked for one company. She worked for the government her entire life. Never, never like that was really like her only employer was like the government. I think my dad might have had three or four jobs in his entire like work career, right? So think about that compared to millennials, and I don't know if you are millennial, but I am, and this was the generation she was talking about, where that's 10 to 15. So I share this to be like, hey, even the person on the other end who's looking at your resume probably has a lot of experience. Let's say that. Even the person who is the hiring manager. I'm seeing now my clients are like, Latrice, the hiring manager ain't even been there that long. Like the hiring manager been there 1 year hiring you. Okay. So think about that. And that is step one and my first tip. Step number two, you should be putting these things on your resume. Let's just be clear. Things like professionally agile, diverse work experience, easily adaptable. You should be seeing these things on your resume, right? That's why I was like, it depends. You need to focus on how you're thinking about yourself, right? Number two, you do not need to mention all the specific dates. Okay. You can just put the year. Like you can say, like, 2023 to 2024. Nobody needs to know that this was like December to February, right? You can put your dates with just the year, and that gives the impression, right? It's still accurate, but gives the impression that it was a little more more time tenure, especially if maybe you were there for just a few months. So these are tricks and tips that you can do and add these to your resume right now while you're watching this, okay? Again, if you're like, Latrice, I'm loving this, I want to take this further, just know I am doing a how to land a six-figure promotion as a woman of color in the 2024 job market free workshop on Thursday, June 27th at 7 p.m. Eastern. And you can put branding in the comments and we will send you that link, okay? Because it's all about your personal brand, right? Let me make sure. All right. Then tip number three, you do not need to list every single job that you have had. This is really important. You do not need to list every single thing. Your resume is a marketing tool, not an autobiography. So I want you to keep that in mind as I'm going through it. If it was a place that you stayed for 2 months and it doesn't add any value, any additional skills to your resume, you don't need to put it there, right? If you have a 2 or 3 month gap, that's fine. That's fine. Or maybe sometimes you don't, but you don't need to list every single role that you've ever had in your entire career. You don't need to do that. This is a marketing tool. You get to select which of your skills and experience you are going to market on this tool. Okay. You get to determine that. Number four, this is good. You can adjust the titles as well. You can adjust the titles on your resume to better reflect the role that you did or the career journey that you're looking to have. Even if they don't overlap, but it's showing one direction, right? You can do that. Again, you can put it in parentheses. You can explain it in an interview and say, hey, I wanted to have a title that better reflects the duties that I did so the reader could understand the role better, right? You could talk about that in the interview, right? Number five, and this is going to be my final, oh, I got a bonus tip. You can also set things up as your own business. Like if you had a lot of small roles or contractor roles or short-lived roles, you can put those under an LLC or your own business and then have those listed that way as tasks or duties that you did, right? So that's like especially if you did this for, let's say, 2 or 3 years. You had contract roles or freelance roles, like short stint periods. You can combine those. Okay, you can combine those, especially if they were similar in duties. You can combine them, and you could put the company still too. And another tip, put contract if you had a contractor role and it was 6 months or a year and a half, you can put contractor beside that, right? In parentheses, you can put contractor. That's showing the reader, that recruiter, or that hiring manager, hey, oh, that's why this stint was 6 months, a year and a half. Oh, it was a contract role. That makes sense. Okay. All right. So I hope these tips help you guys. That was my bonus tip. I feel like we covered a lot in a little bit of time because I wanted to keep this like around the 15-minute mark. Again, if you're like, Latrice, this is wonderful, I want to take this further, I want you to join me in my Fearless Branding Formula program as well. That is my signature program where I help women of color land six-figure promotions and increase their salary to $20,000 to $50,000. And to get first access to that, join my free workshop, How to Land a Six-Figure Promotion as a Woman of Color. You can put branding in the comments and we will send you that link. And we're going to help you get this six-figure promotion over the summer, right? Have a good night, you guys. Bye.